Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome back once again to the channel. You know, it is with you, JJ, once again. First time here, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Don't forget about the notification bell so you know when I post the next video. Alright, guys. Let's get the obvious out of the way. Stop with the slap nut shit, okay? Let's don't roast the chestnuts over an open fire. Just a little joke. I forgot. I gotta keep my posture. You know how that goes. But tonight, guess what we're here for? We are here to talk about coolers. I got plenty of them. I've been collecting a little bit here and there. This is not all of them. This is not all of them. This is just part. So, it's because of this damn cooler right here. This one here. This AMD cooler. This one right here. That sparks a controversy up my butt of the reason why I don't use this. If you're looking for a 45 watt cooler, this one will be for you. But if you're looking for something that's going to give you a little bit more flavor, then this one could be for you. So compare these two right here. Which one do you think is going to be better? Which one covers the IHS better? This one or this one? I can tell you, if you put these side by side, okay, what do you see? This gives you a hell of a lot more space and coverage than this does. This is that cooler that comes with the 5600G, the stock cooler, right? So what's the difference between this cooler? Let's see, this one is, this one is, in actuality, this one is Intel. This is an Intel cooler, an older cooler. So what's the difference between this and this? What's the difference? Oh, you got the cord in the way. What's the difference between the two? This is raised up. This has got a circle in it. This is raised up and got a square in it. Maybe I didn't clean it good enough. Who knows? But let me kind of clean it. Oh, where's my alcohol? Where's my alcohol? Hello there, Helen. However you say it, well, you know. Helena. CES all week looking at those monitors. Yes, believe it or not. CES all week. Looks like we're going to have on Monday night, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Pacific Standard Time, 6:30. Keynote AMD. Keynote AMD. Okay. That's about as clean as it's going to get right there. So they're telling you guys. Okay. Only reason I'm not at CES is I can't afford to pay $7,000 for them to, for me to go there. Sorry, some reviewers have the money and some don't. So, best I can do is cover what's been sent to me. AMD sent me a link to their keynote. That's the best I can do on that. I'm not going to sit there and advertise the other reviewers because they got their own channel doing their own thing. There's no sense in me doing that, okay? That's their thunder, and I'm not going to steal it. I've come to that conclusion. So, as you guys can see, it's clean as a whistle. But, guys, I don't like this cooler. This is somewhat of the reason why. I don't know where the hell I put it. Oh my god. And I lost it. Oh, and I lost it. Damn it. The millimeters on this is too thin. Okay? Too thin. This is way too thin. Should be about, see the cooler right here? Should be this thick. The fins should at least be halfway going up. The more fin area you got here and you're blowing down on it, the more cooling capacity this will have. See, but these don't have great cooling capacity, as you can see. So, best way to get cooling capacity is to get a beast like this. And believe it or not, this little beast and this big beast, they do the job. This one, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bad heat pipes right here. And that sits right on the IHS. This right here, this is the best cooler I've used so far when it comes to air coolers. This one right here. This only cost me, what was it? $20. Brand new out of the box, $20. $20. It didn't come with 2 fans, it came with 3. There it is. So, there it is. I'll tell you what. The only thing that I didn't really care for on this was the fan speed. But at 2,000 RPM, that's still not bad for each fan. So that's 6,000 RPM of fan speed. So, I'm happy with that. So you got 3 fans on this for 6 heat pipes. That's not bad. So, compared to something like this, if you're not looking to overclock, then you want something to get hot with that IHS that blows all over your motherboard. This one's for you. No. I even ripped off the shroud piece that was there. I even ripped that off. Because that's nothing but an eyesore. Now you can actually see what it looks like on the inside. So it's no different than any other fan But right where the blade is, you got like about a quarter-inch gap. So that should have been about a 16th or a 32nd. So that allows air to escape where it doesn't need to be. So that makes that cooler not push much air. You can spin that thing at 6,000 RPM and it'll still push enough air like it was only 1,500 RPM. So a link? You want a link for that? Which one? Which cooler you want a link for there, Dr. Blitz? And hello there, Mr. Dr. Blitz. Good to see you. So, I mean, alright, this will be the deal. This will be the deal. We'll go to the action screen. Okay, we will pull up Amazon, and we'll pull up the DR90. Let's see what they come up with. Discontinued. But the Johnsbow right here, the one that I just showed you guys, right here, that one is right here. AM5, AM4 Intel 1700. And if you want the link to this, I'll give you a link. But the thing is I can't post it here in the live chat. It looks like they won't let me post this in the live chat there, Dr. Blitz. I'll have to give it to you on, I will have to put that into, Discord if you got it. I am here, I am not at the same time. A lot of pain. I will just be listening. Okay, bro. No problem there, machine. No problem. Not a problem at all, my man. So what we'll do is we'll copy this and we'll I put it in Discord for that one. If you got Discord, there you go. So, but the other one, gonna have to find an equivalent. No, that's no wonder why it never come up. Okay, let's see what Alzheimer's got. Looks like they got a 121, no. Oh, that's all they got. I guess they changed out their product. I guess they changed out their product, so wow. Wow, wow, wow. So I would just go with the John's bow. That would probably be your best bet. Get one with ID cooling. This one's got two 120 millimeter fans for $20. That's a hell of a lot of cooling there, guys. I mean, for $20, let's look. Two 120s, AM4, AM5, 1700 socket, wattage 200 watts. So, yeah, that'd be a cool little monument. So, okay, machine. No problem, man. No problem. You never, whoa, 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 whoa. Quick question. I thought you were off on Mondays. Huh. Interesting. Why don't we just do and see what we come up with. They got the Montec. That's not too bad. They got a $60 AIO. Thermalright Assassin 120 refined. X120. $17.90. You already seen that one. Hello there, Mechanical. Good to see you. Welcome back, my friend. Where's your thoughts on liquid cooling? Right here. That's a 360 millimeter AIO. I got a 360 millimeter AIO in my PC. I didn't get to this part yet. I'm just doing the air coolers right now. And then we're going to the AIOs. I figured I'd clarify that a little bit. But let's get back to it. We're just looking through the air coolers right now. Some people ask me about the air coolers. Can you find a decent air cooler on the cheap? Yes. Like this one here, if you want you know, like the digitals and stuff on there, or you just want a cheap one or a super cheap one, this one's got a 120 on it. Do you remember, you can get the same fan with the same clips, put it on the other side, and have two 120 millimeter fans. You could always increase the airflow on these coolers. Biggest mistake I've ever seen people do was they get one of the coolers and they don't put a fan on the backside to do a push-pull configuration. Show you why. Okay. Guys, you get a fan, you get a radiator like this, right? You get 4 solid heat pipes on it. You could do a push-pull configuration on this. Means you can put, this is grooved here and here on both sides. It is grooved. So you can put two 120 millimeter fans on this cooler and double up on the cooling. It is not an issue. Push-pull configuration will make the airflow density go up by at least 40 to 45%, making the fins even cooler. So when it gets cool down here and it stays at a lower temperature, then you know you got something right. This I know will do a push-pull situation. Already done it with this. Works out very good. So, hello there, Martin. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. It was just a little bit of an episode that I had, and I passed out and I woke back up. So, but all is well. Nothing's broken. I am here. I had 2 NZXT AIOs. Both failed on me. Back to the air cooler and got myself a Thermalite. You know the difference between this and the Peerless? Or this and the Peerless? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Difference is the price. Cooling is just as good, but you're only getting the price. So, if you're happy with the Peerless Assassin, roll with it. I mean, I got one of these air coolers on my 5700X. It rolls fine, no problem. I got an AIO cooler on the 9700X. It needs it more. So, I am supposed to be off, but just got off work. I got your machine, no problem, man. No problem, I understand. The 40S, it's a great price. Yeah, I agree. I had Chinese cooler 2 from AliExpress. Oh, I didn't buy this from AliExpress. These I bought from Amazon. They came shipped right out of Amazon. So, whatever Amazon had in stock, I know they were made in China, but they were still bought here in the United States. Cheers. Now that motherboard combo I bought from AliExpress, but I didn't buy these from AliExpress. No. No siree. I got it from AliExpress for $5. Not bad. Not bad at all. Not bad. Yeah, well, still, hey, understand something about air coolers. They never die. Unless they're filled full of dust, they never die. Blow them out, keep them clean, keep it fresh every 6 months. Your computer will thank you. Guarantee it. Your computer will thank you. That's for sure. But now let's shift our focus on the AIOs. Let's shift our focus on the AIOs. So what we're going to do is we're going to shift our focus. And here we go. Now we're on the AIOs. Looks like they got Monosonic. I don't know where the hell they come up with these names. This one's for $56. Arctic Liquid Freezer, $90. Corsair Nautilus, $110. $110. Oh, off-brand like this one, Thermalright, is $60. ID Cooling FX360 Pro, $65. Cooler Master 360 millimeter closed loop AIO, $58. Corsair IQ Link. They got IQ Link. $195. They can keep it. Sorry. I don't see paying this much for an AIO. I really don't. Let's see. What are you guys talking about here? Arctic's good price. Cooler Master, hell no. I know, Machine. I know yours is working good, my friend. I know yours is working good. They got a Kraken Elite, $280. Ow. This is a 240. The one behind me right over here is the Thermalright Aqua Elite 360 V3. The one behind me. Thermalright, you need to fix the pressure points on your AIO cooler. Okay. I am still sad that you cannot put this pump together correctly. By the brackets that you're using, it has no spring tension. It has direct pressure put on the IHS, in between the IHS and the pump. Gives no room whatsoever for the thermal paste. You don't even get enough for a thin sheet. It's so thin, it's basically, this cooler's clamped on to the top of the IHS with a very thin sheet of thermal paste. In order for me to fix this, I would have to redistribute the the spring pressure and make it totally on spring pressure. Right now, those springs are so stiff. It's like the back of an old Chevy truck that they put new lift kit and springs on it. That's about how hard those springs are right there on this cooler. So, if they want my recommendation, set it for spring pressure. Limit the space in between the IHS and the pump, and fix your thing. I understand $55, but still, people pay $55 for it's something they can use. Okay, I can't really recommend this 360 millimeter AIO until this problem gets fixed. Just my 2 cents. Just my 2 cents. They can keep all of them. Gotcha. How is the MSI one working for you? Well, machine, I usually, with this one here, running the stream, I would be at 51 degrees Celsius. But the MSI 360 mil, I am at 46 degrees Celsius. 46. So I am 5 to 6 degrees cooler with this 360 than this one right here. So yeah, it's working, it's doing its job. But do remember, when I was running this, I ran this undervolted. Undervolted. I ran this way under stock. And I still had that temperature problem with this one. This one right here, I don't seem to have that temperature problem. And I am overclocked in the BIOS to the max. I mean, to the max. Within the limit of the CPU, nothing more than that. So, the max the CPU will ever see is 140. 140 watts. The least it'll see is 27, 22 watts. So the temperature will stay between 44°C at idle, all the way up to, if I was pushing 100% on the CPU, would push it to 85 watts. Continuous, it runs at 61 degrees Celsius. Continuous. So, at 61 degrees Celsius continuous, I'm happy with it. Most definitely the AIO cooler is working. So, okay, Martin, you have a great sleep and we'll talk to you later. Thank you for coming out and hanging out with us for that short time. We do appreciate it. Come back and see us again. We'll be here. Macy's says, I am running a Peerless Assassin 120 ARGB digital cooler. It cools a Ryzen 5800 XT CPU with one fan perfectly. $50 from Amazon. Okay, well, here's the good news for you. That's really good. You want to hear even better news? Peerless Assassin is fine, but it's no different than any one of these coolers here. Because if you got a 120 millimeter fan, okay, that's one thing. But when you got 180 millimeters of fan, both all spinning at 2,000 RPM with no noise, that's another thing. This will definitely keep levels down to 58, 59 degrees Celsius. Even at max load, this will handle at least 78C on any of my processors. Don't know about this one yet, but I think it'll handle it just fine too. This is 180. This is one half of an AIO cooler, so this is a 360. This is a 180. Okay. Actually, I think it's 270. Each fan is 90, 180, and the back one's 270. So 270 compared to 360. Do your math. Well, and have a great sleep. We'll talk to you soon. Sleep well. Oh, Mate says I didn't add the second fan because it would cover up my ARGB RAM. Oh. I got you. When you got tall RAM, you need an AIO. When you got short RAM, like me, see, the RAM I got in my PC is tall RAM because it's got ARGB. This is short RAM. So any one of these coolers would work fine. Low profile RAM, any one of these coolers would work fine. High rise RAM, an AIO cooler would be the best way to go. I would rather sacrifice the ARGB, and truthfully I would, for heat on my RAM sticks any day. I would rather have low profile RAM, so that way the fan cooling is blowing down on those RAM sticks, cooling them off as well, compared to having no fan and no air whatsoever and having the sticks get hotter over time. So and you're welcome right back. So when you base it on that and you look at, what do you want to sacrifice? Do you want to sacrifice RGB or do you want to sacrifice performance? Now, if you're just going for the aesthetics, having a PC for aesthetics, then you ain't got to worry about the performance of the PC. Now, if you want to go with the performance of the PC, then you got to factor in the cooling for those RAM sticks. Now, with the cooler overlapping the RAM is actually a plus, not a minus. I would rather have low profile RAM and have that cooler right over the top of those RAM sticks to cool them off with a push-pull configuration. So, that's just me. I mean, you guys got your own way of building, and so do I. So, I would rather have my coolers. See this cooler right here? This, you can run 2 fans, and I know where this sits. This doesn't sit as far as something like this. You're looking at the thickness, right? You're looking at the thickness. You're looking at, now this one right here is not as thick as this. So the fans are going to be decent on these. And if it does cover your RGB, then it's kind of a little bit of an issue. It's either you want lights from your RGB or you want better cooling. So, and if you want both, then get an AIO cooler. Don't waste your time with an air cooler, because you're not going to get the best of both worlds until you switched over to an AIO cooler. I have grown to the AIO coolers because the 360 millimeter AIO coolers really hit the benchmarks when it comes to cooling, heat displacement, and everything else. Yeah, there's people that say that, why don't you take that 360 millimeter AIO out of the case, plumb it into the back to where it's away from everything, and then have regular fans pull out the air. That's a good idea. Pulling the 360 millimeter AIO and mounting it to the back of the case and putting 3 120 millimeter fans in the place to still bring in through the airflow through the motherboard, that will take off 50% of the heat. That will open up the airflow by 50%. So you got a full 100% being pulled through your motherboard, which you can drop 10 degrees cooler on all the components inside, including your graphics card. So, the only thing that makes your graphics card go hot is because the fins going through your AIO cooler at the top isn't pushing it hard enough out of the case, which it builds a heat source in the middle of the case and circulates like a convection oven. That's the reason why I keep my fans over 2,000 RPMs, each one of them. That's why I keep them over 2,000 RPMs, is because the amount of heat that sits in the center of the case turns into a convection oven. And you want that heat to get out and dispersed as fast as it can. Because if you don't, then you're going to be stuck with a CPU overheating. Now, my CPU doesn't overheat. It does the job. It doesn't overheat. So I found a perfect balance. And yeah, I run my AIO pump to its max. And yeah, I do run my fans over 2,000 RPMs. I don't hear my fans running. So, end of the day, I got 4 case fans running at 2,700 RPMs. That means each one of them's got 2,700 RPMs of air coming in. Now there's only one fan in the back running at that same speed to pull that hot air out. And then you got my 3 on top connected to the AIO cooler. Now, that's pushing over 2,000 RPMs for all 3 of those fans. So, and I got a very sensitive mic too. You see how far I am back? My mic is right here. You see how far my arm length is from this? Here. You see how far my arm length is? And you can still hear me? That's how sensitive my microphone is right now. And I'm not even looking at the microphone talking. I'm looking at the camera. Don't you think, other than hearing my fan over here, I got a big whirly fan over here, and that thing's going at full blast. I hear that fan. I don't even hear my PC, the case fans from the PC. And I got these pretty much at 80 to 90%. So, your PC fans do make a difference. The distance in between the blades, in between the blade and its surrounding, makes a big difference. Too far away, you don't get enough air. Too close, you get vibration. The right amount of distance, you don't get any of it. It's neutral. So you don't hear anything. So, I didn't add the second fan because it would cover, yeah, we talked about that. So, guys, I just want to make this point clear. Okay? Let me make sure. Yeah, we're still heavy on the stream. It's not that I'm second guessing you on your choices for what you picked for your fans for your case. That's what you picked. That's your choice. I'm not here to tell you what to choose and not choose. I'm just here to tell you my experience with the fans that I got. Other than running something like this, is basically like running something like this. See that fan? See that fan? It's almost the same crap. This is the reason why I don't like these Rave coolers that came with the CPUs. I think this is the biggest mistake that AMD made because they made the coolers wrong. That's my whole point. If I wanted a fan like this, I would take and strap this. I would take this off here, the cooler. I would strap this fan to this right here. This fan to this. Now, if they would have made something like that with 4 heat pipes, other than a flat plate with no heat pipes, just a solid hunk of metal, you know, you gotta have something to distribute. You gotta have something to distribute the heat. This distributes the heat. This does not. This is something that distributes your refrigerator cooling. Your heat pump on the back of your electronic refrigerator. That's what this is, with a pelter plate. This is just total joke. I mean, total joke. I mean, let's talk fans. Here, let me bring it down here. Let's talk fans. This is a fan. It's a 90. right? Here's another 90. Here's another 90. Right? Here's a 120. I got a 120. Another 90. Another 120. Another 120. Another 120. My God. Another 120. 120 again. 120 again. 120 again. And hardware and the controller. So I found the controller. Now I just got to find the controller plug. I think I know where that is though, but that's a lot of fans. This is a lot of fans. This right here is a lot of fans. That's how much fans I put into my case right here. So we got 3, got 6, got 8 fans. That's how much I put into my case. Now actually, wrong about that. Did I put any more? Hold on. I don't think I was correct on all the fans. Okay. Nope, I was wrong. There. And there. I had 2 extra fans. So I had 2 extra fans hidden somewhere. So that's a lot of fans. That's about, I would say this is about how much I put in one case. That's how many fans I put in one case. Right here. Big stack. So if you ever wonder what I put into a case, here it is. Let me put this back into the box. Now that's a lot of airflow. That's a lot of airflow into one case. So, if you ever wondered, that's how much airflow I put in. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so, let's see. I like the digital screen on the Assassin. Let me know CPU and GPU temps. That's cool. That is cool. I mean, if that's what you're going to use it for, that's fine. I understand. Let me, because everybody was pinging me. So give me a moment, guys. Okay. Alrighty. So, Mr. Machine found out Intel's got a keynote. Well, we'll see how this works out. I don't even know how tomorrow's going to work out. We'll put out the stream, guys, and we'll talk about it. You know, I know tomorrow's Monday. We're expecting to do the AMD thing. Machine put out there that there's an Intel keynote as well. I'm sure there's going to be an NVIDIA one too. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see how far. That's 6 hours. On an estimate, it's probably about 4.5, 5 hours. But on an estimate, it's around that far. So, there we go. Let me take that off of there too. Oh. Because I hot wired that damn thing. So. And then you got an old time baby cooler. Look at that. Baby cooler. Look at that baby cooler. So. That's all the coolers I got. What do you guys think? I mean, that's going to be up to you. I can tell you I've tested everything that's here, and I've gotten really good temps at the time, except for the Thermalright. I had to readjust the pressure on the screws to get it to not squeeze out all the life out of the thermal paste. And I'm sure you guys know what thermal paste I use is the Arctic MX4. It squeezed it all out, made a big mess and problem. So, you know, could be machine, could be a B770 in the future. We don't know. That's got to be one thing that I need to experience is getting one of those ARC GPUs to see all the torture and everything everybody's going through with them. I have to see. Because if they make the B770 less than $300, but give you a buttload of VRAM and give you a buttload of speed for below $300, they might have a deal. So you guys tell me what you think on that. I know there's going to be some naysayers on the Intel part because they've been betrayed by Intel before. But guys, this is 2026. You need to look past that crap. It's time to leave Intel's problems behind. It's time to leave AMD's problems behind. And it's time to leave NVIDIA's problems behind. I understand a lot of people get butt hurt, but you have to learn. This is 2026. It's starting fresh. We will find out how they're going to start 2026. If they mess this up, there's no coming back for any one of those companies. If they mess this up because of the VRAM and the system RAM crisis that is being put upon the PC community for these overrated prices that are just too high for people to grab. Inflated prices that don't need to be inflated. Just because they want to make a bottom line. I hate to tell you this, people are not going to stand for that crap, and they're going to look at you and say, you know what, too bad. we will find a different supplier. They're not the only suppliers in the group, guys. There are more than those suppliers. They tried to make it look like they're the only ones. But there are other chip manufacturing companies. One here in the United States is still here that might sell to China, which I hope they don't. But there are other countries that can produce chips with no problem. These are not the only three companies on the block. Samsung, Hynix, and Micron are not the only ones in the block. Just because they sell mid-range to high-end doesn't mean they're the only ones that are out in the market. It's just the other ones that didn't step out of the shadows. We're waiting on those to step out of the shadows and say, look, we're going to take them on. And just because the community is short-ended here, that means we don't have a majority of the world on our shoulders. We got like 1/3 of the world that's into the PC game. Into the PC game. 1/3. So, and the other third is the consumers that like to play Facebook and all that sort of nonsense. And another third is the high end. That's the other third. And that's big business. So you got your 3/3, and now what they're trying to do is they're trying to take a bit of the PC community, a big bit, 40% of it, and they're trying to shove it to big business. They will never learn. You don't think it'll be less than $400? Bro, I'll tell you what. If they make it 24 gigabytes of VRAM, less than $400, you might as well just say, and they fix their driver issues and they run this perfectly to the T. Perfectly to the T. They'll overtake NVIDIA's spot. They'll overtake AMD's spot. They know this. They're playing the shell game right now. And what they need to do is start going back into competition. Who's the best of the best? They need to start pushing more competition. That's going to make like this. That's going to make it pop. That's what you want it to do, is pop. Intel needs to get out there and just pop. Pop. The AI bubble and say, it's about the consumers. And once Intel does that, boom, gone. So, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? It's basically what you gonna do when Intel runs wild on you. That's what I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting to see if Intel makes a rebound, gets their head out of their tush, and boom, knocks everybody out of the box. Intel's been going many more years than AMD and NVIDIA. They've been going about close to almost as long as IBM. Remember, IBM helped them get their shot. But Intel's been taking the lead when they first started making those processors for the CPU and the integrated graphics in the beginning. So, you don't think Intel's got what it takes? They do, they just need the fire put underneath them to make it happen. They need to give their people that fire, that urgency, that wanting to do it. You gotta just want to do it. To show you're the best of the best when you're the engineer. Show everybody you got what it takes being the engineer. You show them you are the person that's gonna punch above his belt. But if not, then you're just sitting back and sitting on the bench and you're just watching the world go by. Just watch the world go by. You're making the same amount of money, you're just watching the world go by. And you're just watching the world go by. You want to make a difference? Give us something that really pops. Intel engineers, hear the cry of the consumer. Give us something that pops. Something that's going to make you come out of the shell and just take everything to the next level. That's what people have been talking to me about. As the messages come in, I hear the cry of the people. Intel needs to step up their game, get their prices down, and get their reliability back up to where it needs to be. Stop this crap with the motherboard and get your foot put down and get the codes just right and get everything back on track. Stop playing games with your own money. Stop playing games with people's minds. Be better than that. Be better than everybody else. Be a perfectionist when it comes to precision making these CPUs and GPUs. It's not hard when you put your people at task and really push the envelope with your people. And when you push them harder than they've ever been pushed before, they will do the job. They will get you what you need. It's just like in restaurants, I'm going to tell you that. Because the cooks, I push them beyond, 600% beyond their capability. And they handled it just fine. Be a leader and not a follower. Intel, be a leader, not a follower. Lead by example. Sorry guys, I'm giving this little speech and I hope Intel hears it. Because I am to the point, I used to be the biggest Intel fan. Because that's all I had was Intel. Back in the day. Nothing but Intel. All Intel CPUs. There was no AMD. And you can't say NVIDIA because they don't make CPUs perfected just yet. So, back in the day, it was nothing but Intel. That's all you heard. Intel this, Intel that. Intel's got a better processor. They got a new processor coming out. It's a lot better processor. Intel, Intel, Intel. That's all I heard back in the early years of computing. Nothing but Intel. And now looking back when they were making the 286 to the 386 to the 486, and did they make it to the 586? Or was it the i3? It's a good question to ask it. Did they make it to the 586 or the i3? The Intel Core. You guys tell me. Let's see if you know your shiz. But if Intel hears that competition needs to be put back into the workplace and they need to strive for that excellence, they need to do it. They need to stop playing games with, the stock market and leave the stock market alone. Stock market's only going to pay you just what you need to stay afloat. What's going to keep you afloat and get you going is putting new hardware out. That means with the hardware, it needs to make sense. So far that I've watched the hardware choices that Intel has made, and it's been some really poor choices. Really, really severely poor. Raptor Lake. Why couldn't they have fixed the problem before it left the factory? How come they didn't know that they had this 2-year problem and they didn't do nothing about it? They probably knew they had it, they just didn't want to fix it until the end. And then play the victim. Can't keep doing that in the marketplace. You can't keep playing the victim forever. You keep playing the victim until you're going to become the victim of circumstance and you're going to lose your business. And somebody's going to buy out your business and they're going to change the name from Intel to Roastel. Roastel. That means you're roasted. So, it's not hard to fix a problem, guys. But if their fabrication has a bad thing wrong with it, they need to fix it. Even if it costs you a couple $1 million, fix the problem. Stop making a problem. What you should do is take and roast out all your problems, call anybody to the table that's creating a problem, and squash it. And get people making awesome products for a decent amount of money. So that means don't overcharge us $700 just for a new concept. You want to sell the concept, then keep the price down to a very reasonable price. You manufacture your own stuff and you source your own stuff as far as materials. Shouldn't be having this kind of problem. No. That's like telling the automaker, and they screw up a car every time it comes off the assembly line. The paint scratched. this is wrong, that's wrong, this is wrong, that's wrong. But they go through a quality check. Every car goes through a quality check because of safety reasons. Now the problem is with the 12 volt high power, switching the subject a little bit, is that they don't put it through a quality check, and guess what? It lights up like a Roman candle. Why? Because the wire is too thin. How many times have I been saying this? You can't run individual 16 gauge. You have to run 8 gauge wire if you're going to run between 6 and 800 watts. You have to run single 8 gauge wire that would hold up to 1200 watts. Now you're talking about keeping it real. Running these little dinky inky wires ain't gonna cut it. You're asking 10 amps for each one of those 18 gauge wires that they put out there with no quality control. And when one starts to burn, the rest do burn. It just takes one to start burning, and the rest will follow in the melt. It shouldn't get that way. They should be using Teflon wire. They should be using high-tempered Teflon. And the wire they should be using very high temp wire. But who for me to say? You think they'll listen? I haven't been doing, let's say I'm just like the normal Joe and I have never worked on anything before. They're going to be like, huh? How do you keep it from burning, man? Since I do have a background in electronics, I could tell you where they bottleneck their power through every one of those little 16, 18 gauge copper wires. You can bottleneck your power. And they bottlenecked it to the point to where you go to draw over 10 to 20 amps off of one single wire. Forget it. 18 gauge will not handle it. Not for a long period of time, though. Just saying. Just saying. So, guys, end of the day, I know there's no sense in me ranting. It's not going to change these companies' minds. They got engineers that know more than me. Supposedly they do know more than me. Supposedly. But, at the end of the day, you only can learn so much crap in a book. I've worked on thousands of pieces of electronic equipment. Thousands of pieces. Even motherboards, fixing it up here and there, and stuff like that. So, but does that make me a genius? No, it doesn't make me a genius. Does that make me special? No, don't make me special. All I'm doing is informing my viewers, my subscribers. There comes a cost of playing this Monopoly with your PC. Stop the Monopoly chasing and fix the problem. I can tell you where they're chasing the Monopoly is because they keep listening to people that don't even test shit. They keep listening to people that don't test their shit. I've tested everything in my PC. My PC don't catch fire. I have yet to have any one of my PCs catch fire. Any one of them. I've been looking to see if they catch fire. All the power supplies I picked were accurate and correct. Why? Because I picked the best of the best. As I thought that they were the best. I didn't pick modular power supplies. Here's why. It's called a resistance factor in between these shit little cables that they got. These cables, these modular power supply cables, when you got more than one break in your power connection and you start drawing from that power connection, guess what? Your little spot right here, your little connector that's broken in two places, if this is not soldered in one place and you only got one break, you got a resistance problem like crazy. Each one of these little wires will hold a lot of resistance. So, it's a resistance problem. But these companies haven't learned nothing. They haven't learned a damn thing. When they're building the connectors, they're using soft plastic. They're not using high temp hard plastic. How come they're not using Teflon plastic? They do make a Teflon plastic. So, how come they're not using something that's hardened enough to keep those connectors from burning up? Oh, because they're playing the cheap game. It's called cheap, cheap, cheap at the customer's expense. The consumer is taking the brunt of this fall. These companies are not. To them, these GPUs are a dime a dozen. And pretty much only a couple $100 to them. Because they buy them by bulk. So they're only a couple $100 to them. They don't have that much expense into this. It don't cost them that much to get this. Remember, China builds GPUs, CPUs, and whatever, pennies on the dollar, because they pay their people over there pennies. So they don't charge to build graphics cards that much. Not a lot. Why do you think everybody gets it built over in China? Is because they build it cheap. You guys just don't get it. For me to protect you guys and tell you this is what's happening, for you not to believe me and still go through it and still cry about the fact of these companies not doing right, well, I hate to tell you this. I could lay out their whole profile and tell you everything they've done wrong over the years. From day one to now, I can tell you everything they've done wrong. But, like I said, I've taken a long journey. I've been building PCs for over 3 decades. No, I'm not going to say 3 centuries. 3 decades, and I'm still doing it today and having fun. So, can you build a PC for cheap? Yes. Will it cost you a lot? No. Hello there, MTBK. Good to see you. Good to see you. You think it's going to cost you a lot to build a PC? No, it's not. It's basically taking the price of parts and redistributing the wealth. Like if you got to put a little bit more to your VRAM, or not your VRAM, your system RAM, then you take away from one to the other and balance everything out. That's what I did. I turned around, I looked at the system RAM, and then rebalanced out the motherboard. Instead of getting a $200 motherboard, I can still get a decent motherboard for $80. Even if the RAM's $239. Now I just add, or $80. So now that's $320, right? Balance out your CPU. Could be $160. So you're at what, $400 now? Still below $1,000. But you stop right there because those are the only pieces you need to build your platform. Boom. Guess what? Your platform only cost you $400. The reason why your platform cost you $400 because you repurposed your old one. Because you didn't throw your old one into the garbage. You found a way to repurpose it. You found out a way to make it all work. And you didn't need any other parts but the motherboard, the CPU, and the RAM. And let's say you already had the RAM and you don't even have to worry about that. You just need the CPU and the motherboard. There you go. You're done. You're on the right track of the futuristic responsibility that you need to take. You want to get a little bit faster, a little bit of efficiency, CPU, motherboard, update the two, and you'll see how much happier you'll be. But anyway, you guys got any questions, feel free to ask it, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, don't forget about the notification bell. So, yes, I am a little bit tired this evening because I've only gotten 3 hours sleep in 2 days. Well, actually, no, I got 4.5 hours sleep in 2 days. They kept me up overnight, stressing me out. They needed to make sure that I wasn't having a seizure kind of thing. So, yeah. When I got home, I slept for a couple hours. That didn't last long. Banging on the door. That's what I heard. But anyway. Guys, air coolers are $20. Will they work just as good as any of the other coolers out there? Yeah. In general, they will. Let's say you don't overclock or anything else. Something like this will be perfect for you. Just a little end cap for you. So, but you try to run something like this on your CPU, today's CPU, don't do it. This right here will never work. Just like this. Even if it comes with the CPU, right? Even if it comes with the CPU, unless you're not overclocking and you're undervolting, then this might work okay. But as far as overclocking, forget it. You're just wasting your time. That's just what I call a pile of waste my time. That's pretty much what it is. It's a waste of my time. So, I don't want to waste my time. I want to take and invest my time and be able to have something like this. With something like this. You can see the plates and the heat pipes. That's what I want to have. Want to have a big plate on the bottom, even if it overextends the IHS. I would rather have it overextend the IHS because that gives the IHS extra cooling room beyond its square parameter. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, the IHS, right here. the top of this. The top of your CPU, they call the IHS. This is your cooling spot. It's where you put the thermal paste. Right here. So, and if I have a cooler, oh shit, let me bring that back over here. If I have a cooler like this, gonna match with, watch this, like this. You guys see that? You guys see that? You can see this cooler exceeds the IHS on this chip. Exceeds. That means that CPU's not going to get hot. It's going to stay mild all day long. So, that just gives you an idea of how it sits. But you still want that gap in between the two, because you got to be able to put your thermal paste somewhere, and you got to have enough, a thin enough film to where on this you don't want to be able to see the copper. You want the thermal paste thick enough you don't want to see the copper. You don't want it too thick, but you don't want it too thin neither. You want a flat sheet of it to where it covers the copper. Right on this cooler square. You want to make sure you cover the whole thing. But first, measure your CPU and measure how big it covers with the CPU. So, when you put the thermal paste on the CPU, that's as far as it might squeeze. It might squeeze out a little bit if you put too much on. But if you put it on your CPU IHS, you'll be fine. It'll squeeze out just a little bit, but enough to give it a little bit of love. So, if you guys got any questions or concerns, you can lay out your questions. Let me know what you think. But I'm telling you straight up, when it comes to the new PC parts, I still got questions about a lot of it. Like a lot of about 50 series NVIDIA, 9000 series AMD. Actually, can't say too much about the Battle Mage for Intel, or the CPUs for Intel. What the Core 9 2200S series. They're supposed to have a 300S series that they might cancel and do a 400S series. Who knows? You know. What these companies need to do, they need to be straight with the community and stop playing games. That's what they need to do. They need to stop playing the games and start being straight with the community. Once they start being straight with the community, and remember, for every one of them that you stay positive with your consumers, they're out there telling 10 more consumers. And then those are telling out 10. So that's 100. Then it goes to 1,000, 10,000, a million, and goes on and on and on. It only starts in one place with one customer. That's how everything starts. That's how the word of mouth starts. It takes one customer. But until these companies learn that, they don't know much. They really don't know much at all, because they need to take care of their customers. If I were to say in restaurants, I would never take care of the customers. I let them take care of themselves. You'd never have a restaurant to go to. Never. I have yet to never have have a customer wait. I was always on top of my game. Every night I worked. That's why I was able to spend the least amount of money per night as a manager. See, because the other managers were buying meals like crazy, costing the company hundreds of thousands of dollars per month. But me, on the other hand, my shift was not like that. Everything was precision. When it comes to the food, the atmosphere, and everything else, all precision. So, that's the idea I'm going to give you about that. But anyway, I know I'm going to stop doing the snappy thing because I just want the companies to do better. I really do. I want them to do better, not worse. Every time they do worse, people make more content, negative content. And the more you get negative press for these companies, the less they do. I don't want negative press. I want positive press. That's why I'm doing air coolers tonight. That doesn't make sense. That's why I'm doing these cheap air coolers. That doesn't make sense. Because I'm giving a positive note on content. I don't want to have to lambaste companies every goddamn time I get on the stream. Not happening anymore. Tired of it. Tired of the negative. Time to go positive, guys. Time to do the positive thing. Time to start thinking positive. Go back in the day when they were doing things positive and start bringing that positive connectivity back to the people. That's what my focus is going to be. Try to bring positive connectivity back to the people. I'm not going to sit there and just lambaste these companies every time they screw up. No. Because they're going to continue to do it. You contribute to the crime. That makes you the criminal. If you contribute to the crime, that makes you the criminal. But if you don't contribute to the crime, that'll make you the savior. So, it's 2026. It's a fresh new look. Hello there, Mr. Pseudoscientist. Good to see you. Okay, start now. I'll wait. Yeah, so will I. You see them ever going to do that? I want to see it. This is 2026. I hope the keynote turns into something good. I hope they decide to say, screw it, they're bringing down the prices regardless. I am just waiting for that. I'm waiting for these big companies to step up and say, screw it, we're changing our mind, we're changing our path, we're changing the landscape. Until he throws all these companies acting like a fool under the bus. Truthfully, I hope they do. But, like you said, I'll wait. I'm going to tell you, if I had a big name company and I heard the cry of the people, I would stamp on the brakes and say, whoa, we're screwing up somewhere. Whoa, 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 whoa. We're going to pump the brakes, do a 360, lower the prices, make it affordable for everybody, and do that for 2 years solid. But that's just me. That's just me. That's something I would have done. Even if it brought my stock prices down, who cares about the stock price at that point? It's the consumer you got to start caring about. The consumer will bring your stock prices up. They'll buy more if you give them something to buy. If you give them garbage, they're not going to buy garbage. They've had enough of the garbage. They want some good product. And if you got something really juicy and you really put it out there, and you pick 10 of the best reviewers, actually not. I would pick 10 of the smallest reviewers that were on YouTube and gave them a little skit and say, okay, make the best of this. This is the product we want to see you're going to be proud of. That's what I would have done. These big reviewers, they make their money like no problem. They got 20 channels, they got 100 people working for them, no problem. But when you got one person doing the whole gig, and you don't got anybody but you, then that goes to the heart of the channel. You put more heart into your channel when it's just you putting the heart in. So, it is what it is. But anyway, guys, I said my piece for the evening. And I hope you guys enjoyed the cooler bit, with the coolers. We'll do more of this time and time again. We're going to switch things up. I'm not going to start worrying about the leaks and the bounds of, people talking out their boo-hoo, their butthole, and not producing anything that makes sense. So I'm going to start changing up my content, start making stuff on stuff that makes sense. It's called real product. So I got enough product here to make enough videos for quite a while. And that's what I'm going to start doing. And if I get more product, I'm going to put it into the fold. But I'm not going to worry about the leaks and the rumors anymore, because it's not really going to do you any good. Not going to do me any good. I'm sure they'll have it out there, but so what? Who cares? I'm tired of the bad news. I know you guys are tired of the bad news. It's time to do something that's called good news. It's kind of time to change the world and put a positive note in the world. Instead of all this negativity. Time to squash the negativity. Time to go with the positive possibilities. Is what it is. Stick with me, because it'll get better each time, guys. For real. But anyway, I am going to get out of here, and I hope you all have a great evening. As I will as well, because after I get done doing this, looks like I might have to take a nap. No other choice. Because of the medication. You know how that goes. But anyway, guys, you have yourself a great evening, and we did enjoy the time with you. And if this is... How can I say this? No, I can say it like that. Yeah, I can say it. If this is your first time here, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Don't forget about the notification bell so you know when I post the next video. Until the next time and the next video, you know what it is, and we'll see you on the next video or live stream. Take care, guys. Be safe, and happy holidays.